Hey! It has been months since I filmed a video in my filming corner, and that is not good. But we're back and better than ever, so thanks for sticking with me, guys. It's been a really long summer and a really stressful start to the last semester of school for me, but I'm finally getting the hang of things, and I just want to start by saying thank you so much for all of the supportive comments. I already said I wouldn't do this, but I just can't help it. Thank you. Today, we are going to be jumping right into the topic, and that is tips for moving out, my experience, and do's and don'ts for moving out for the first time. So back in March, when I uploaded my first apartment vlog and moving in videos, I will link it above and down below, I did get a comment asking if I could share some tips on how to move out. Thank you so much for leaving that suggestion in question, and I've been wanting to make that video for such a long time. I've kind of just been sitting on it and trying to come up with like a good list of quality tips and tricks, and then I also wanted to wait until the end of August or the end of December to upload because I thought that would be a good time, when in reality, like, I moved out in March. I have friends moving out this week, and I have friends moving out of their parents' place like in 2 months. I don't think there is really like a time to upload. I think the sooner that I get this video up, the better, and I've already waited too long. I know I had quite the crazy summer, going from LA to Myrtle Beach to VidCon to LA, back home, working in a summer camp, to returning to Anaheim for Disneyland in California and Newport in LA, coming home, going straight to the State Fair of the Lights Festival, and then boom, school. So I had a lot of content to get up, a lot of stress, and a lot of assignments right away that YouTube was kind of pushed onto the back burner, but we are back and we're better than ever, and I cannot wait to start this new era of videos with you guys. I have always been a very dedicated YouTuber, and that is not going to change. 2 videos a week is what I do, and we are starting this week off with tips for moving out. Before we get started, don't forget to leave this video a like and comment down below with any of your tips and tricks or any experience that you have had, or just leave a comment. I love reading your comments. I reply to every single comment, and don't forget to follow me on my social media. I'm very active on there. Before we get started though, I did want to clarify that when I got this comment asking me to make a video on how I moved out, I didn't know if she meant tips on how to move out like when you're going to move out, which is kind of how I am taking it for this video, like tips and tricks, do's and don'ts, or if it was literally the question like, how did you move out? Which I guess is what I'm saying now, as in financially and finding a place at such a young age in school. You know, how did you manage to move out of your parents' place and be so independent? So I am planning to upload that video next, so definitely subscribe so you don't miss that. If this isn't the specific answer to your question, I promise that the other take to this question will be uploaded next, so definitely subscribe and be on the lookout for that video. I'm going to film it right after this video, so it should be up in a couple days. So here are my tips and tricks for moving out, my own experience, and do's and don'ts. Let's get right on to number one. Number one was actually my biggest mistake when I moved out, and that was believing that I had to purchase absolutely everything before moving in. Don't do this. Well, this is great planning. I didn't realize that my roommate may already own a toaster or a blender or a bathroom trash can or rug, and communication is key. Obviously, this goes for if you are living with a roommate, but if you are living on your own, you may not even realize what you need for this new space and just start assuming that like, oh, you need this and that and this, and you start spending so much money because you're getting so excited to move out, and that's okay. Like, I was so excited to move out, I did the exact same thing. But until you actually move in, you may not know what your space is going to look like or feel like, or what your daily habits are going to be in this new home. And that basket for blankets by your living room couch might not actually make sense in your new living room. You just don't know your space yet, and I feel like it's smarter and safer just to wait until you move in to really realize what you need before purchasing everything on the planet. Not going to lie, I ended up returning a lot of what I showed you in my apartment haul. I'll link it above and down below, simply because I thought I needed everything, and then once I moved in, I realized that, you know, my roommate owned a toaster and she had a bathroom trash can, and I didn't really need that blanket. They just didn't serve a purpose in my new space, and I realized that I didn't need them after all. So I ended up returning over like $100 worth of products. So just wait on purchasing new products until you move in. My second tip is to start budgeting if you haven't already. I thought I was budgeting, but until I moved into my own place, my budgeting journal just took complete control of my life. Oh my gosh, I have to show you guys. BRB. Say hello to my best friend. This is my budgeting journal. This is my life. This is where I keep track of all of my spending and earning habits and make sure that I can actually afford what I need and want in my life, especially when you are living on your own and 100% financially independent. It's just super scary. Make sure you know what you're doing. You need to stay organized. Oh my gosh, this journal is life. I won't go into too much detail here, but if you want an in-depth look at how I budget and track my spending, give this video a thumbs up and comment down below, because I can definitely make that for you, and it is super helpful when living on your own to know how much you're spending, how much you can spend a month, and how much you are making a month. Let me know and we can deep dive into this budgeting journal together. Wow, this is such an adulting video. Tip number 3 is tying into the first tip a little bit, and that is start with the basics. Bed, desk, dresser. I totally overwhelmed myself with believing that I needed custom crystal dresser knobs from Amazon and this and that, but I really think minimalism is key here. Live with what you need, and then as days go by, consider what feels missing or what purchase would benefit in your new space. I definitely needed to declutter when I was moving out, which brings us into our next tip, which is purge. Purge everything before moving out. I went through my closet, my books, my trinkets, and even my products and used what I could, donated what I didn't need, and then threw away the rest. I also brought out the storage bins and put away a ton of high school memorabilia that I didn't want to take with me into my young adult life in my first adult apartment. But to add a more minimalistic feel and fresh start, I recommend purging your living space before moving on. And last but not least, consider thrifting before purchasing it at a normal store, like Target. When I was looking for items for my new apartment before moving in, I went to the thrift stores first. I talked about this on my vlog channel, but to save money, I headed over to my local thrift stores to see if they had anything that I needed that I could purchase for less, and boy did they deliver. I'm going to link that vlog above in case you are curious, but keep in mind you can find such steals at thrift stores and sometimes fully unopened items, and you can always DIY items for less and make it so much more sentimental and just homey feeling, knowing that you created it and made it just how you want it. So a ton of items in my apartment are from the thrift store that I spray painted and made and customized to fit my own likings. And then I also found so many new items at the thrift stores that were so cheap. Again, haul is above and down below, so go check it out if you're curious, but I definitely just scored big. Sometimes I feel when I really need something and I go to a thrift store, the universe wants me to find it there because I need it, and then whenever I don't need something and I go to the thrift store, I usually don't find it. I don't know if that made any sense. Basically, just head to the thrift store before going to Target or any other store, because you might find what you need for less, and it is just so cool when you get a good deal, you know? Those are all my tips and tricks, do's and don'ts for moving out for the first time. I really hope that this helped you and that you enjoyed. If you still have any questions that I didn't answer or anything that you are concerned about with moving out, comment down below and I will address them in a future video. Leave down below any tips that I did not get to or that you have discovered that maybe I don't know about. I'd love to read those. Also, like I said, I know that I did get a couple questions asking how I was able to move out when I am still in school and how I afford this and how I found the apartment. So that video is coming out next. Definitely subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss that upload. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll see you very soon with a next video. Bye!